Have you ever felt like you understand everyone, but no one truly understands you? You see patterns others miss. You feel emotions others ignore. You give so much, yet still feel misunderstood. If you are an INFJ, this is not random. It is part of how your mind works. INFJs are known as deep thinkers, empaths, visionaries, old souls. But here is something people do not talk about enough. INFJs are also weirdly bad at certain things. Not obvious things, not surface-level weaknesses, but hidden struggles that quietly shape your life. In this video, we will explore 12 things INFJs are really bad at. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. 1. Saying what they truly feel. INFJs are emotional. Deeply emotional. Their inner world is rich, quiet, complex, always moving, but expressing those emotions. That is a different story. They can write pages about feelings. They can describe emotions with precision. They can sit with someone and understand exactly what that person feels, sometimes without a single word being spoken. But when it comes to their own emotions, something changes. They hesitate. There is a pause, a quiet moment inside. They begin to think, is this the right time? Will this hurt them? Will they understand me? And just like that, the feeling gets filtered. They overthink. They analyze every word. They adjust the tone. They soften the truth. What they feel strongly comes out gently. What they feel deeply comes out partially. And sometimes, they say nothing at all. They keep it inside. Not because they do not care, but because they care too much. Why? Because INFJs fear being misunderstood. They know how painful it feels when someone twists your words or misses your meaning. They fear hurting others. Even when they are the ones hurting, they still think about the other person first. They fear being too much, too emotional, too intense, too complicated. So instead of honesty, they choose silence. A quiet kind of protection. But silence has a cost. Those unspoken feelings do not disappear. They stay. They build slowly, layer by layer. And over time, that silence becomes heavy, like pressure inside the chest, waiting to be released. 2. Setting boundaries. INFJs want peace. Not just around them, but within them. They want harmony in their relationships. They want people to feel safe with them. They hate conflict. It feels loud, disruptive, unnecessary. So they avoid it, even when they should not. So they say yes, even when they mean no. A small yes at first, then another, until it becomes a pattern. They give their time, freely. They give their energy, without counting. They give their attention, even when they are tired, even when they are exhausted, even when they need that energy for themselves. But they keep going, because saying no feels uncomfortable. It feels like rejection, like letting someone down. And INFJs do not want to be the reason someone feels hurt. This makes them amazing friends, reliable, supportive, always there. But it also makes them vulnerable, because not everyone gives the same way. Some people take more than they give. Some people get used to the kindness. And INFJs let it happen, not because they are unaware, but because they hope things will balance out. They believe people will notice. They believe people will care. But that does not always happen. Because setting boundaries feels selfish to them. It feels like putting themselves above others. And that feels wrong, in their heart. But the truth is different. Without boundaries, there is no balance. Without boundaries, there is no protection. Without boundaries, INFJs slowly lose themselves. Not all at once, but little by little. Until one day, they feel drained, disconnected, and quietly overwhelmed. 3. Living in the present moment. INFJs are future-focused. Their mind rarely stays still. It moves ahead. Always. Planning. Imagining. Predicting. They see possibilities. They connect dots that others miss. They think about what could happen. They think about what should happen. They think about what might go wrong. It feels natural to them. almost automatic. Their intuition is always working, always scanning, always searching for meaning. But this comes with a cost. It makes it hard to stay present, to simply be. Simple moments feel distant, even when everything is calm. Their mind is not. They sit in a quiet room, but inside, there is movement. Thoughts flow, scenarios play out, questions appear. Even when they try to relax, their mind drifts. They replay the past, moments they wish they handled differently, words they wish they said. They analyze the future, what they need to do, what they need to fix, what they need to become. And while all of this is happening, the present moment quietly fades. It slips away, like a scene they were never fully in. They miss small details, the warmth of the moment, the stillness, the simplicity, because their mind is somewhere else. Not here, not now. 4. Handling small talk. INFJs are not fans of shallow conversation. It feels unnatural to them, like speaking without meaning. They crave depth, real connection, real understanding. They want conversations that matter, conversations that stay with you. So when someone says, "Nice weather today," they pause. They respond. But something feels off. Their mind searches for something deeper, something real, a question, a thought, a feeling, anything beyond the surface. Because that is where they feel alive. Small talk feels draining, not because they dislike people, but because it lacks substance. It feels repetitive, predictable, empty, like words without weight. They would rather talk about life, about purpose, about emotions, about ideas that stretch the mind. They want to understand how people think, what they believe, what they feel when no one is watching, because that is connection to them. Not just talking, but seeing, and being seen. Surface level interaction does not feed their soul. It passes time, but it does not fulfill. And INFJs are always searching for something deeper than that. 5. Asking for help. INFJs help everyone. It comes naturally to them. They listen without interrupting. They guide without judging. They support without expecting anything back. They notice when something is wrong, even when no one says it out loud. And they show up, again and again. But when they need help, something shifts. They hesitate. They pause. They think twice, maybe 3 times. They do not want to burden others. They know what it feels like to carry weight. And they do not want to place that weight on someone else. They do not want to seem weak. They are used to being the strong one, the stable one, the one others rely on. So asking for help feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable. So they carry everything alone. Their stress, their worries, their emotional weight. They keep it inside, even when it becomes too much, even when they are overwhelmed, even when they are hurting. They tell themselves they can handle it. They tell themselves it will pass. But deep down, they wish someone would notice, without them having to ask. This silent struggle is one of the most common INFJ traits. Strong on the outside, quietly struggling on the inside, and still, showing up for everyone else. 6. Letting go of the past. INFJs remember everything, not just events, but emotions. They remember how a moment felt, the tone of a voice, the silence after a conversation. They replay conversations, word by word, pause by pause. They analyze mistakes, what they said, what they did not say, what they should have done differently. They revisit painful moments, not once, but many times, again and again, almost like their mind is searching for something, an answer, a lesson, a sense of closure. They try to understand what went wrong. They look at every angle, their perspective, the other person's perspective. They ask themselves questions. Was I too much? Was I not enough? Did I miss something important? This reflection feels meaningful at first. It feels like growth, like self-awareness. But slowly, it changes. It becomes heavier, more repetitive, more exhausting. This reflection turns into rumination. The same thoughts loop. The same feelings return. Nothing new is discovered. But the pain remains. And that keeps them stuck in the past. Even when life moves forward, a part of them stays behind, holding on, trying to make sense of something that may never fully make sense. 7. Making quick decisions. INFJs need time. Time to think. Time to process. They do not rush. They analyze every option. Carefully. Quietly. They think about consequences. Not just immediate ones, but long-term effects. They imagine different outcomes. If I choose this, what happens next? If I choose that, who does it affect? Their mind creates paths. Multiple paths. Each one with its own story. So when they have to decide quickly, something inside them resists. They freeze. Not because they are incapable, but because they are processing too much at once. They doubt themselves. What if this is the wrong choice? What if I regret this later? They overthink. Even small decisions feel big. What to say, what to choose, what to do next. Everything carries weight. Everything feels connected to something bigger. Even simple choices can feel overwhelming. Because for INFJs, decisions are not just decisions. They are reflections of values, of identity, of meaning, and they want the right answer, not just a fast one. 8. Accepting imperfection. INFJs have high standards, quiet standards, deep standards, not just for others, but for themselves. They want things to be meaningful, not random, not shallow, aligned with their values, with their vision, purposeful. Everything they do, they want it to matter. So when something feels off, they notice immediately. A small mistake, a slight misalignment, it stays in their mind. It lingers. They chase an ideal version of life, a life that feels right, balanced, meaningful, true. They also chase an ideal version of themselves. Someone calm, wise, fully understood. Someone who always says the right thing, always does the right thing. But reality is different. Life is messy. People are imperfect. And so are they. But accepting that is not easy, because their vision is so clear, so detailed, so deeply felt. But perfection does not exist. And slowly, this creates tension. A gap between what is and what should be. And this can lead to frustration. A quiet kind of disappointment. Self-criticism. They turn inward. They question themselves. Why am I not there yet? Why did I do that wrong? And over time, this pressure builds into burnout, into emotional exhaustion, all from trying to reach something that was never meant to be perfect. 9. Trusting people easily. INFJs are kind, warm, understanding, but not naive. They see more than they show. They observe quietly. They analyze behavior, patterns, tone shifts, small inconsistencies. They notice things others miss. A change in energy, a forced smile, a hidden intention. So trust does not come easily, not fully, not quickly. They may be friendly, they may be open in conversation, but emotionally, there is a distance, a boundary that is not visible. They protect their inner world carefully. They open up slowly, layer by layer, not all at once. Because trust, to them, is sacred. It is not just about honesty. It is about safety, emotional safety, the feeling that they can be fully themselves, without being judged or misunderstood. And once trust is broken, it changes everything. Something closes. Quietly. They may forgive. They may still be kind. But something inside them shifts. And it becomes very hard to rebuild. Not impossible, but never the same. 10. Dealing with conflict. INFJs avoid conflict, not because they are weak, but because they value peace deeply. They want understanding, balance, harmony. Arguments feel heavy, like emotional noise, too loud, too chaotic, emotionally draining. So they withdraw. They step back. They stay quiet. Sometimes they listen, but do not respond. Sometimes they agree, just to end the tension, even when they do not truly agree, because ending the conflict feels more important in the moment than expressing their truth. But unresolved conflict does not disappear. It stays under the surface, quiet but present. It builds slowly, emotion by emotion, thought by thought, until one day it becomes too much. And eventually it comes out. Not always directly, sometimes through distance, sometimes through silence, sometimes through unexpected emotion. Because what is not expressed does not vanish, it waits. 11. Prioritizing themselves. INFJs care deeply about others. It is natural to them, almost automatic. They feel what others feel. They notice what others need. Sometimes, even before the person realizes it. Sometimes, too much. They put others first. Again and again. Without keeping score. They check in on friends. A simple message. A thoughtful question. They support family. They show up. They listen. They give their time. They give endlessly. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Because it feels right. But when it comes to themselves, something changes. They forget. Not intentionally, but consistently. They ignore their own needs. Rest. Space. Emotional care. They tell themselves they will handle it later. After this. After that. But later keeps moving. And their needs stay unmet. Until something shifts. Until they feel empty. Quietly drained. Like they have given so much. There is nothing left to give. And in that moment, they realize something important. They cannot pour from an empty space. 12. Feeling truly understood. This may be the hardest one. The quietest struggle. INFJs understand people deeply. They listen beyond words. They see emotions beneath the surface. They connect patterns. They understand why someone feels the way they do, even when that person cannot explain it. But in return, they rarely feel understood. Not fully. Their thoughts are complex, layered, abstract, connected in ways that are hard to explain. Their emotions are layered too. Not simple. Not one-dimensional. Multiple feelings, at the same time. And putting that into words is not easy. Sometimes they try. They explain. They open up. But something gets lost. The depth. The nuance. It does not fully translate. So they stop trying as much. They keep parts of themselves inside. So even in a room full of people, they can feel alone. Surrounded, but unseen. Not because no one cares, but because no one fully sees them. Not completely. Not in the way they see others. And that creates a quiet distance. A space between them and the world. A space they have learned to live with. But still, a part of them hopes that one day, someone will truly understand. If you relate to these traits, you are not broken. You are an INFJ. These struggles are not flaws. They are patterns. And once you see them, you can work with them, not against them. You can learn to speak your truth. Set boundaries. Stay present. You can grow, without losing who you are. Because being an INFJ is not about being perfect. It is about being deeply human. If this resonated with you, you are not alone. And maybe, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to understand. And that is your strength.